Day 2 of the USA Ultimate Club Championships under wraps. It was a fun day. I got to watch multiple of the men's pre-quarter matchups as well as some of the quarterfinal matchups, and I think we ended up where it was supposed to be, but not without some drama. Some of the pre-quarter matchups, a lot of them very interesting. 2 of them went down to double game point. The other 2 were just 3 goals. Pac-Men, probably the upset maybe of the tournament. Pac-Men upset Dig. I got to talk to their coach, and the short of it is that they played underneath the Dig receivers, and they were not putting it up, and so they were able to generate some turns and keep it close. So congrats to Pac-Man. Apparently it's a lot of young players. The Grossbergs are apparently the 2 kind of stars on the team, brothers, that kind of recruited a bunch of different players from kind of the area, the Philly area, that are all in different colleges. So I've heard they only had 2 practices, and they made it to the quarterfinals of nationals. So congrats to them. That's a lot of young talent. That's going to be the story throughout. There's a lot of great young players entering and playing in the game right now and playing at the top level, which is super exciting. So Dig, we'll have to talk about them more later, but kind of a surprise, to be honest. I need to dig into that a little bit more to find out what happened. I heard Babbitt was handling on offense, which doesn't make sense to me. To me, he's a defensive player. He's a great defensive player. So I don't know if they're weak at the handle spot, but he just doesn't strike me as a handler. So I'm going to have to dig into that a little further. Next game, Truck Stop Chain Lightning. This was a good game. I know there's a yellow card thrown out, but at the end of the day, Truck Stop took it to Chain Lightning. I do believe it was a close game. I didn't get to watch this one. But Chain did keep it tough and tight the whole time. Ring of Fire lost to Sockeye. This is the game I was watching. If it weren't for my son kind of distracting me a little bit, wanting me to toss a soccer ball and frisbee the whole time, I would have kind of caught every single piece of this. But Martin on Sockeye made an incredible deed towards the end of the game because Sockeye was down, I believe, 1 or 2 goals later in the game and came back and won it. And wow, unbelievable. There's also one point where Jacob Fairfax there was an 0 point for Ring. They got a turn, needed to score to keep them alive, got a layout D, and then got the bookends. And then I think at that point it was double game point, and Sockeye won. Declan Miller, I made a post on Instagram about this. This guy seems to be the real deal. I heard he's a freshman, Carleton, and he played on Sockeye as a high schooler. He looks like he's 25 years old. He has the body of that. Like, he doesn't look like a freshman in college. So this kid's going to be a stud for a while. I was really impressed with him. Not sure if he's my first team all club, which I will be putting together. But he's a stud. He's really impressive. I do have to also make a comment, which I'll probably make a different video about, Carleton not nominating Callahan nominees, which to me is surprising. I don't know why. Maybe it's a humility thing or they just kind of don't believe in it. I'll have to dig into that some more. If you have any information, feel free to share that. But that's really interesting that they don't nominate, because this kid already seems like he should be the best player in college, or is. He's basically the best player in Sockeye. So if you're the best player on a club team, you probably should at least be top 3 in the Callahan. The last game was Machine Sub-Zero. This was pretty close throughout, but Machine kind of pulled away at the end. Sub played it tight. I didn't get a chance to watch that, but I felt pretty confident Machine was going to pull that out. So that brings us to the quarterfinals. 8 teams left. All these games were played at 2 o'clock, so I couldn't possibly watch them all. I'm going to have to go watch film. Revolver beats Pac-Man 15-9. This game was actually close. I was following it on Score Reporter, and this game was close. These youngsters from Philly, I'm going to have to watch that game back. Respect to the Philly guys, but Revolver, too strong. Still my favorite to win the tournament. Truck Stop Rhino, I thought Truck might be able to give him a game. It was kind of windy, and just the way Truck plays, they could maybe kind of gimme and skirt around with some of those low, kind of low breaks arounds and not really hucking it. But Rhino just too strong, too athletic, and too deep. Truck just doesn't have the depth that they seem to have had, or maybe just a little bit older. I don't know that for a fact, but Rhino just speed, strength, and some swagger there from last year as the defending champs. New York Sockeye, didn't get to watch this game at all, but not surprised. I'm still picking them to go to the finals. They're just super stacked. And then lastly, I thought this game would be a little better than it was, but Machine got off a few breaks in the beginning of the game, and Bravo just pretty much couldn't get it back. They had some opportunities, but they kind of squandered them, and Machine played well. Don Desmarais, great game. Hands down, the best player in the country. I don't think there's anybody really even else in the conversation right now. There's a lot of great players, a lot of very good players in Ultimate, but Don just seems to stand out. He does everything very well, very, very well at an elite level. So he's got superstar talent, so you can't underwrite that in this game, but they're going to be facing New York, which we're going to preview right now. So before that, we're going to do Revolver Rhino. Revolver, the top seed versus the defending champs. This is crazy that this is a semifinals matchup. If Rhino hadn't been, Dylan been off at Worlds and Henry been off at Worlds, their record may have been better, so this may have been the finals matchup, but here we are as a result of conflicts. Man, I think this game is going to be super tight. I think any team can win. Revolver's just been too consistent and willing to work the disc, be disciplined, and churn it out. And I think in this game, this day and age, that's what it takes to win. Rhino could maybe sneak some hucks and get it through and be hitting on all cylinders like they did last year and win, sure. But I think the chances of any adversity happening with wind, weather, we're in San Diego, it might just be wind, not necessarily weather, or just, getting down a few breaks and having to kind of grit it back. I just think Revolver's got the edge. So I'm going to go with Revolver, although Rhino certainly has the capability of winning. First of all, these four teams all have the ability to win. They're all super talented. They all have superstar talent, and it's really going to be fun to watch. So New York Machine, man, Don Desmarais is the best player. New York's got some of the other top players. I think John Randolph is got to be top 7, top 5. Chris Kotcher, if he's not top 5, top 7, he's top 10. But he's just got such experience. Jimmy has not been playing a lot. I've heard that he may be hurt. But either way, Jimmy with wind will be super helpful. He'll be a liability on defense if he's got any injuries. But on the offense side of the ball, he is a weapon. But New York just so deep. So I'm looking forward to watching both these games because I haven't watched, other than Machine, I haven't really watched these guys play. So this is going to be fun. Highly recommend you check it out. I think they'll be on Ultiworld TV if you want to watch, but these are going to be fun. If you got any comments or thoughts on the day, or if I missed anything, or you want me to elaborate more on something, I'd be happy to do it. I'll be out. I'll be on my Instagram, YouTube, live here and there posting. But otherwise, hope you guys have a great evening. God bless.